Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mike Norvell, this Florida State program to me, and I think to a lot of Florida State fans checking this out as well, this feels like a massive next couple of months for Florida State on the recruiting trail where you look at what kind of went wrong in 2024. Why this program cratered the way it did. Yes, the coaching staff, nowhere near good enough. Transfer portal evaluations, missed on a lot of guys in the transfer portal. The other thing that I think really Florida State struggled with was you've been missing on a lot of big time recruiting battles at the high school ranks. And I think the overall take is, hey, Florida State, you should not be recruiting the way Florida State has recruited the last couple of years. This should be a program that is bringing in, consistently top 12, top 10 classes in the cycle. And I think Mike Norvell is going to look to get back to that in this 2026 cycle. And it starts at the quarterback position. Brady Schmeigel decommits from Florida State. Florida State going after some really intriguing quarterbacks in this 2026 cycle. And it sounds like they got a legit chance at a lot of these names we're going to talk about. One of the things that excites me, I think excites a lot of Florida State fans as well, is, when you have Mike Norvell, Gus Malzahn, that package, you feel pretty good about how the offense is going to be run over the next couple of years. So if you're a young quarterback looking at where you want to play your college football, you're looking at Tallahassee and saying, hey, that is the spot where I know I'm going to get some really good coaching and going to be involved in some really effective offenses. Want to look at really the three quarterbacks that Florida State has narrowed their search down to. Talk about one, big name that Florida State will continue to push for. Before we get into it, as always, the Florida State fans, appreciate you guys. It's going to be really fun talking this football team over the next couple of weeks and months as we roll into spring practice. The amount of support the Florida State fans have shown in the months of February and March as we talk the recruiting trail means the world to the boys. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this one. I want to start, and I kind of tiered these to the quarterbacks I like the most. We're going to start with Bo Bentley. This kid has come on in a massive way, and there's so much to like about Bo Bentley. Most of all, he is a stock up kind of guy. And what I mean by that, especially at the quarterback position, you get guys that really stand out when they're freshmen and sophomores and kind of taper off and don't really develop the rest of the way. Bo Bentley, the complete opposite. You're talking about a guy as a sophomore, didn't really play much quarterback, stepped in as a quarterback in the state of Texas his junior year, 4,200 all-purpose yards, undefeated, state champs, Texas 4A football. If I were to describe Bo Bentley in about three different ways, one, he's a gamer. You turn on the film and he's just going to figure out how to get it done, which is such an important aspect of playing the quarterback position. I think sometimes when we talk about evaluating quarterbacks at the high school ranks, you just look at, all right, how big are you? How good of an athlete are you? What's the arm look like? Where, between the ears, it matters. And Bo Bentley, his first year really playing quarterback, the film is just a gamer all over the film. Really good athlete that can extend plays, and not only extend plays, not only hurt opposing defenses with his legs running the football, he throws off platform extremely well. Does not lose any velocity when he's throwing off platform. So he's a guy that when you're trying to deal with a guy like Bo Bentley, you got to keep him in the pocket. And if he gets out of the pocket, that is arguably where he's most dangerous. And he's just getting better as a quarterback. He's only going into year two, his senior year at the quarterback position. Very similar to how we talked about Luke Romanoke when he committed to Florida State as well. Bo Bentley fires me up, and I'm interested to see what Florida State does with him over the next couple of weeks and months. The number two quarterback I'd like to see Mike Norvell and Florida State land, Landon Duckworth. Now, with all these quarterbacks that we're going to be talking about, the dual threat nature is real. And for Landon Duckworth, it's not just, hey, I'm a good athlete, I can extend plays, I can get it done when I need to. It is, I'm a legitimate threat that if you do not game plan around, I will hurt you with my legs and I will hurt you in a big time way. 6'4", 200 pounds, kind of a wiry frame. I don't love to make the Lamar Jackson comp. You get a sense of it because he makes people look silly when they try to tackle him. And then you look at him as a passer and say, all right, 66% completion percentage. 51 all-purpose touchdowns, a guy that throws with exceptional touch on the football. Hey, he can throw the deep ball. He can rip it in when he needs to. You see him layer it over zone coverage routinely on the high school film. He's a guy that checks every single box that you want, especially in a Mike Norvell, Gus Malzahn offense where they want to incorporate the quarterback and their legs. This would be another brilliant fit for Mike Norvell and this Florida State staff. And I think what's worth noting is, Gus Malzahn made a lot of traction with Landon Duckworth when he was recruiting him at UCF. So you got that pre-existing relationship that I think will matter for Landon Duckworth. Number 3, Jaden O'Neal. And this is not me saying I don't like Jaden O'Neal, but he is a guy that probably less of an athlete that the other 2 guys in Bo Bentley and Landon Duckworth are. Howitzer of an arm. I mean, accesses the deeper third just about as good as any quarterback in that class. That's what you love most about Jaden O'Neal. I wouldn't say he's a limited athlete. He's a guy that can be creative getting outside of the pocket, but is not necessarily as dynamic as Bo Bentley or Landon Duckworth when he decides to run the football. Massive arm that can access every single blade of grass on the football field, which is, in my opinion, worth noting, because there's a lot of quarterbacks that you see come out of high school and hey, they can make some good throws, but hey, can you access the deeper third? Can you throw from the opposite hash to the boundary? Jaden O'Neal can do that with ease. Now he's currently committed to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's keeping a lot of other quarterbacks warm. I would be very surprised at this point if Jaden O'Neal signs with Oklahoma, and it sounds like Florida State is starting to like Jaden O'Neal a lot too. Last name, the big fish, the guy that would be a home run hit for me in this Florida State offense, Keisean Henderson. Keisean Henderson, I've heard it pronounced a couple of different ways. Go look at his junior year film. 12 months ago, people were talking about whether he was going to play quarterback at the college football level. Now, yes, he is an athlete that he could be a top 100 national ranked wide receiver. He could be a legitimate good cornerback. He is one of the more gifted athletes that you see purely in this 2026 class, but he also happens to have a phenomenal arm as well. Now, as a pocket passer, there's probably some development that needs to take place, but he's got all the arm talent in the world. And Landon Duckworth is a really good athlete. Keisean Henderson takes it to another level. He is a legitimate dual threat guy that throws off platform extremely well. The high caliber throws that you see on the film, I don't understand why people didn't think he was a quarterback 12 months ago. Box checking guy that would fit exactly in this Mike Norvell, Florida State, Gus Malzahn offense. And that's probably what I love the most about what Florida State's doing. They did it in the transfer portal really well, and they're doing it on the high school recruiting trail well too. Hey, we're not only going to land really good football players, we're going to land football players that fit what we want to do on the football field too. Because you can get good players, but if they don't fit how you want to run your offense or what your defensive front looks like, then they're probably not going to be all that effective, right? Go back to the transfer portal and all the versatility that Mike Norvell and I guess you'd say Tony White landed on the defensive line. Those guys were perfect fits in terms of what Tony White wants to do on defense. You look at all of these wide receivers, especially Bo Bentley, especially Landon Duckworth, and especially Keisean Henderson, they all fit what Gus Malzahn's going to want to do, because you're going to want your quarterback to get involved in the offense, very similar to how we talk about with Thomas Castellanos too. Really excited to see what Florida State can do at the quarterback position over the next couple of weeks and months. Very excited to see how spring practice goes as well. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. I'm actually here in the state of Florida, Naples area. I ain't cut out for all the sun that I'm getting, but I've been having a blast. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.